Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to introduce and talk about the Steam controller and its features, and then we're going to go one by one comparing it to the other controllers here on the table, give you a good idea of what does what and which one might be a good choice for you. A lot of people kind of balked at the price of the Steam controller coming in at $100 if you can even get your hands on the thing, and we're going to give you a good idea of whether or not that's going to be a good investment, a good use of your gaming dollars. Valve's Steam Deck is a fantastic gaming handheld that lets you play your PC library on the go. It's got a series of fantastic inputs, great performance, and the best part is you can take your games with you when you get back home, put it down, and pick up right where you left off on your gaming PC. The only problem being you have to leave all these fantastic inputs behind when you do. Valve recognized this as a problem and recently released the Steam controller. Keeps all of the inputs you know and love from your Steam Deck and brings it over to your beast of a gaming rig or even the new Steam machine. So we're going to take a look at this controller, talk about a few of its features, and we've got a couple of other fun things planned for the video. I'm Sober Josh. Thanks for coming over to check out the channel. Give us a like and subscribe if you're enjoying it so far, and let's get into it. Starting with the Steam controller, you're getting a lot of functionality here in the Steam controller that you don't get with anything else. First off, we have two magnetic field sensing joysticks. These are similar to Hall effect sensors. What these are going to do is give you really great precision and a very, very low chance of ever developing any sort of stick drift. It's a very high quality technology to be using in a modern controller. Very happy to have it. I like that these are actually laid out side by side, similar to like a PS5 controller. Now, around the back, we're going to see that this comes with a little electronic puck. This is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi controller. So you can use this to connect this to your PC. It can mount 4 controllers at once. So if you have multiple controllers, you only need one puck to have multiple people playing on the same PC. Now, on the front, you're going to see we have these 2 trackpads. These are capacitive haptic touchpads. You can use these to control the mouse cursor on your PC. If you pull up your on-screen keyboard, you can use these for typing on that on-screen keyboard. Really, really cool to actually control 2 cursors at once. It makes typing quite pleasant, actually, from the comfort of your couch. Now, around the back, we do have these 4 back buttons, which are my favorite standout feature on this controller. There is no 3.5mm headphone jack, so if you like playing with a headset, you'll have to come up with a different option for that. And then, of course, we get the standard array of buttons. We've got our bumpers, analog triggers, also Hall effect based. We'll talk about what we can actually tell with this. It is a big controller. It is a little bit of a chunky boy. My girlfriend has some tiny hands, and she found this one to be quite large. She didn't quite reach around all the way to the back buttons. So if you have really tiny hands, you may not be able to really take full advantage of this controller. These front touchpads, really, really useful. They've got a really nice soft matte finish to them. So does the entirety of the controller. It feels nice and sturdy in the hand. I wouldn't say that it feels exceptionally premium, but it does feel like a high quality piece of hardware. The buttons have a really nice glossy finish, especially that D-pad, really silky, and overall I think it is a nice looking controller. It feels good in the hand. It's got a lot of interesting inputs and really cool. If you want to charge it, what are you actually getting here that you don't get with other controllers? There's a lot actually. So Valve has built capacitive sensors into multiple parts of this controller. We have capacitive sensors here in the analog sticks, right at the top of the sticks. We have capacitive sensors here in these as well. And then you also have sensors that are built into the controller handles here. So it actually knows when your hand is on and wrapped around the grips here, right? So even when you're not pressing the button, as soon as your hand closes on it, it detects that, and you can bind that to various actions on the PC through Steam input. So really, really interesting. For example, you could have it set so that letting go of the controller would pause your game, and then grabbing your controller would unpause the game. So a lot of different things you can do with that. All of these buttons, all of the inputs can be rebound using Steam input, and you can do some really interesting things. This one often defaults to an extra camera control, but what I like to do is turn it over into a gyro input activator. So you set this up in Steam input so that touching this trackpad will activate the gyro built into the controller. It's got a really, really great gyro system. And then you can use that gyro aiming to really level the playing field with PC gamers who are using a keyboard and a mouse. Really neat. You can also bind that capacitive functionality on both of these analog sticks. Really, really cool. And you can bind these back buttons to all sorts of functions in the game, to various hotkeys if it's a game that needs a lot of hotkeys, or what I normally do is bind it to all 4 of the face buttons. I don't really use the face buttons very much because I prefer using these back buttons. When I'm playing something like Elden Ring, or recently Black Myth Wukong, I really like being able to use these because I can maintain camera control at all times. I no longer run into this issue where I'm trying to dodge and then get back to my camera. No, I can dodge and control my camera and even do lock-off strategies a lot easier than trying to do the whole claw situation. Not a big fan of the claw, right? This makes it a lot easier, and yeah, it takes a little while to learn, but play with it this way for a couple of hours, you're good to go. Really like it. As for the touchpads, you can also bind these. You can set up radial menus to bind all sorts of in-game functions into menus, inside of menus, inside of menus. I don't play a lot of RTS games, so I haven't made too much use of that feature. I mostly use them for navigating the PC, which is a big win, in my opinion, being able to type and browse my PC, open Netflix in the browser, go type in the name of a show, and I think that's really a major selling point. You don't need the puck. The puck is really nice. You get that 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, low latency, very stable connection. But if you want to leave this at home and just take the controller on a trip with you, you're going to be just fine because it does have built-in Bluetooth functionality. Okay, so we're going to be comparing the Steam controller with all 8 of these controllers here on the table. None of these were sent to us for review. These are all my own opinions. These are all controllers we picked up just for, doing the comparison. I've been playing with these over the last week or so. Now, before we get into it, which one of these do you think I'm actually used the most? Now, obviously, I had to spend a lot of time with the Steam Deck controller, but one of these actually is my daily go-to gaming controller. You can let me know which one you think that is. Down in the comments below, you can guess. Now, this one here is the Kronos. This one comes in around 23 USD. Really cute little Bluetooth controller. This is the 8-bit Do M30 PlayStation 5 controller, modded metal buttons. This is the GameSir T3 Lite, the GameSir G7 SE. That's a wired-only controller, just the wire is removable. Obviously, the Steam Deck controller, the Xbox Series 2 Elite controller, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller, and the Xbox controller comes with the Series S in the box. This one's got one really cool standout feature: AA batteries. You don't see that much anymore. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start this comparison with the Steam controller and the Xbox Series 2 Elite controller. When this launched, it was like a $200 controller. This is coming in at $100 right now. You can get this, I think, right now on Amazon, like around 140, 150 bucks. This one's seen better days because it's been used quite a bit, but overall, really good material in the hand. I mean, you can twist it. It doesn't flex. It doesn't feel like you're going to break this thing. It's heavy as well. You got the built-in battery, which is different from the regular Xbox controller. This one, actually, I really like. Uses double A's, which is sick. I actually wish more controllers would do that. You can put your own rechargeables in there if you want to, and if your controller dies, you just swap out the batteries. You can get these adjustable tension sticks. You can also pull them off. You can even swap out the D-pad for another one. I prefer the cross layout rather than the circular one. That's just what I have on here right now. And then you can adjust the tension on these to make them more or less precise. Overall, it's a pretty good controller. I think that these are kind of cramped. They're too close to each other to be really useful. This is kind of like large and blocky. It's supposed to be like a charging base. You drop it on there. It charges, and it's heavy, and it doesn't really move, so you don't have to worry about your controller going anywhere, right? However, I think that this implementation here with the puck on the Steam controller is just way better. It's lighter. It snaps right on. It's not going anywhere. Not coming off. I think the back buttons are just laid out better in general. It's a lot easier to use them. And this one actually has Hall effect triggers and analog sticks. Whereas with the Xbox controller, you're still getting those capacitive sticks, which is ridiculous at a $200 price point, which is what this, look at this thing, is what this thing launched at. I don't even really think this one is in the running. It just really is overpriced for me. I don't think if you're in the market for a controller, unless you're an Xbox only gamer. Now, the regular Xbox controller, this one is another one. I mean, the quality is not as good, obviously. The build quality is a little bit creakier. Its inputs aren't quite as smooth. You kind of get a little bit of a crunchy grind as you move your analog stick around in a circle, right? So it is not nearly as high quality as the Xbox Series 2 Elite, but it's also way, way cheaper. You still get a really good D-pad. Great inputs. The buttons all feel fine. A little bit loud on the face buttons. Other than that, really great controller, and you can swap those batteries out. But the Steam controller is beating both of these hands down. You get more inputs, you get a more ergonomic input layout, you get great battery life, plus you get the puck, which makes charging the thing super easy and connecting it to your PC super easy. If you're PC gaming, this is just definitely taking it over the Xbox Series 2 Elite any day. And, well, I mean, it's still, there's nothing wrong with having an extra Xbox controller or two around because these are great. They work really well with the PC. You just plug them in, Windows detects them, they just work, right? Next up, we have the Switch 2 Pro controller with the Steam controller. Now, this one is coming, I think these are like $90 or $100. It's a pretty expensive controller, especially just for something you're going to be using mostly on your Switch 2. It already comes with controllers. The Joy-Cons are fine, right? But if you want something more comfortable and maybe you pick this thing up, $90 is a lot of money for a controller you're mostly using on a console. Thankfully, you can hook this to up to your PC, and you can use it with your computer. The thing that I really like about this one, really, is just how quiet the inputs are. Everything is really soft, everything's really smooth when you push these inputs, and the sticks, they're almost velvety when you're using the analog sticks. I would have to say, these are some of the nicest feeling analog sticks I've ever used on a controller. The D-pad's pretty decent. You got a decent D-pad. It's not the best D-pad in the world. It's not a Vita D-pad, but it is better than the D-pad you get on the Steam controller. Steam controller's D-pad, you really can't tell whenever you're in a diagonal, right? The fact that this one's D-pad is just kind of like one of its major weak points really doesn't help it for that use case. I play a lot of retro games, and so when I open up RetroArch, I'm not going to be picking up my Steam controller. I'm definitely not going to be using this because I want something with nice, tight, precise D-pad inputs, and I don't feel like this controller really delivers on that. However, whenever you get into those 3D games, you get those back buttons, you have that perfect camera control, you get the gyro built in, then that's a different conversation. And we're starting to get to the point where like this is really starting to lead the pack as it goes, right? Whereas here with the Switch 2 controller, this one's super comfortable, it's lighter, it's smaller, so you got tiny hands, you might like it more than this one. Yeah, overall, I do think that this one's a little bit overpriced at $90, but it is a really, really comfortable controller. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at these GameSir controllers. I got two of them here, both of them wired controllers. This one has a removable cable. It comes with a huge cable, it's like 10 feet long. I can actually play it on my couch while this is plugged into my PC next to the TV. Really awesome. Now, both of these have Hall effect sensors in the joystick, so they have really accurate joysticks, and they're going to last a long time without going bad on you. They both have back buttons, and they're both really quite comfortable. For the price, even the build quality is actually really nice. You know, this one you cannot change the cable, right? So if the cable goes bad on this one, you're going to have to get a new controller. But that's where, like, the real selling feature for these comes in. This one actually lets you lock those back buttons. So if you don't like the back buttons, you can use a little switch to lock those in place, so now they won't click anymore. And it has removable face plates. Pretty cool. Now, these are not, like, super amazing controllers. They're, you know, very serviceable. The analog sticks on this one are particularly smooth and nice feeling. I do appreciate that. All the inputs feel good quality. The only downside to these, really, a big downside, one, I'd like to have more back buttons, but even if you only have these two, you have to bind these manually. So you have to do a button combo. It's like home plus X plus the button you want to bind. Then you have to press the button you want to bind, and then you have to press the back button you want to bind it to. So that's really kind of annoying. The big selling point here is just the price. This is $15 on Amazon with Hall effect sensors. I mean, that's a crazy good price. Then you look at this one, I think this was $35. These are just so much better than anything you would be able to get for $15 to $30 when I was a kid. I remember using like the Mad Catz controllers. My friends would come over, we'd be playing the PlayStation 2, and then I wouldn't have an extra PlayStation 2 controller to have like one or two real ones. So we had the little brother, the guy next door, best friend controller. We give you the Mad Catz piece of crap, you know, that barely functions half the time. And that's the controller that you get to use whenever you visit someone else's house. These are way better than those. I mean, are they as good as the Steam controller? Heck no. But for the price, that's $15. Okay? Now, we're going to take a look here at the PlayStation 5 controller. This is just the regular PlayStation 5 controller. We have modded this one. It's got metal joysticks. metal face buttons and metal D-pad. You have these really nice resistive. These are like active triggers. So sometimes when you're shooting stuff in games or doing some actions, these will activate and then, they resist against you. If you're on a PlayStation, then those are just bound into games. If you're on a PC, you need to use like DS for Windows. You have to use an app to connect this properly with the PC, so then you can get some of those PlayStation features. Unless it's a game that like officially supports them, and then it's kind of complicated to get it working properly all the time. But it is kind of neat when they do work. I usually turn them off. To be honest, if you're in a shooter and every single time you pull your bow back to shoot someone or you try to fire a gun, this thing's pushing back against you, your finger gets tired. If you're playing for like an hour, you're gonna get like arthritis in your finger or something. Overall, the PlayStation controller is a pretty good controller. You can use this to control the mouse on a PC, which is neat. I don't like the D-pad. I think the split D-pad it's just mushy. It's mushy, and I don't feel like I get really good, precise control with it. Like, it just kind of feels like clunky, which is really disappointing, because I think the PlayStation Vita had the best D-pad ever. This has better sticks, it's more comfortable, you have more inputs, and they feel better in the hand. This is way more comfortable than this is, even though this is already pretty comfortable. And no back buttons. Now we're gonna move on to our last two controllers. We have the 8-bit Do. This is the M30, styled kind of like a Genesis controller, and this is the Kronos. This is a Bluetooth controller. It supports the Switch, PC, Xbox, phones, iPads, everything, basically. This is actually a really neat controller, actually. If you pick this one up for like 20 bucks, the inputs are all actually really quite decent. Like, you see, it's like very retro style, kind of a little bit like a NES controller. They have this nice color scheme. The buttons are nice and clicky. They feel really nice. These shoulder buttons are like mouse micro switches, so they're super clicky. And they fall really nicely in my finger. So you can push the shoulder button, you can actually push it over here on this side. Look at that. But then you have your other mouse button right here. So you have your R and R2 right there, right? And L and L2. When you're using these, they're really actually quite good. It's a lot better than you would expect. The analog sticks do have the L3 and R3, so this is a fully featured controller. I think the only thing that this is lacking, I don't think it has gyro. This is not going to be like a competitive gaming controller, but look how tiny that is. Look at this. Stick it right in my pocket. It'll live right there, right? Now this one, the M30, this is a more retro controller, obviously. The buttons are nice. They're really big. They feel pretty good. Overall, it's fairly ergonomic for what it is. This is obviously perfect if you're going to be playing some old arcade games, or you're going to be playing some Sega games, right? So I basically only use this to play Sonic, but I mean, it is a good time. So you play Sonic, you play some Street Fighter with this, a little bit of Mortal Kombat. Really nice. Now, obviously, this is D-pad centric. This is the only input you have, so probably not shocking to find out this is a really good D-pad. This feels really nice. You've got really good physical tactility on your inputs. You feel the diagonals really well. You know which direction you're pressing. The buttons are big and feel great when you press down on them. The only thing is, it does kind of rattle a little bit. I'd like it if it was a little bit tighter, but really, really a good controller. If you're going to be playing a lot of retro games, you might want to pick one of these up, because I think I would pick this up to play my Mario before I would play it on this, because it just, the D-pad. The D-pad is a big problem on this for me. Just is what it is. So yeah, if you like some D-pad centric games, this one might be a good go-to for you. And if you're looking for a little travel controller, this one's really not bad either. Now overall, if you're looking for one controller to do everything, we're still going with the Steam controller. But I mean, this is $20 on Amazon, $23, and I think this is about the same price. These are both coming in at like 20 bucks. So you get like 5 of these for the price of one Steam controller.